Hi everyone, my name is Charlie and I'm teaching from Penticton, British Columbia. For today's class, you're going to need a pillow, or if you have a yoga bolster, you can also use that too, just because probably not everyone has that at home. I am going to use a pillow for the class that I teach. Any size is fine too. This is just a couch pillow. And then we'll place that down on our mat and we're going to start down on our backs. So using that pillow to support your head and your back. So I like to keep my knees bent when I lay down, but feel free to stretch your legs out nice and long and then just take a moment to get nice and comfortable. And then I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your body. So I like to place both of my hands on my belly, but you might want to try placing one hand up on your chest or your heart space. Doesn't matter which hand, you can try both and just see truly what feels best to you. And your hands might even be off the body if it doesn't feel right. So for today's class, we're talking about anxiety and just a couple of ways that yoga can help calm that anxiety and bring you back into the present moment. Because oftentimes when we're anxious, we are thinking about the future. And this might be because we have a deadline or some homework or somewhere that we're going soon, like on a trip, and we're trying to pack. It could really be a wide variety of things, and it could be the smallest thing, it could be the biggest thing, but it really doesn't matter what it is. It still feels the same in our bodies, right? We get, usually I get very tense and I start to breathe into my chest and not into my belly. And then my thoughts are just all over the place, coming and going. And oftentimes I feel like if I have the space and the time for it, I like to step away, find a quiet spot, and just lay down on my back and really just remove myself from that space, that anxiety space. So I find a new place, I lay down, I put my hands on my belly, and I focus on breathing out. And we focus on the out breath because that can really sink you down and ground you into the earth, which is a great place to be because it holds you, it feels supportive, and it really brings you into your body. So let's just take about 5 big breaths, but really extend the exhale and try to breathe out as much as you can. And as I'm breathing out, I really start to notice the back of my body getting even heavier towards the earth. And with my hands, I start to feel the breath coming in and out. Let's take 2 more breaths. Nice long exhales. And then if your legs are straight, you can start to bend them now, and then we'll roll off to one side. And just gently find your way up into a seat. I'm going to use that pillow that I was just laying on to sit on now. So I'll set a timer on my phone usually when I lay down to do that breathing exercise. And if after my timer goes off, usually I set it for about 5 minutes, not too long, but also not too short. And if I still feel really anxious after that time and my breath still isn't slowing down, then I like to bring in some movement, because the movement will give your mind and your brain something to focus on that's more active. And moving your arms out and back and whatever position you're moving in, you have to think about that movement. So that will hopefully bring the brain and the thoughts to the body even more than that still practice of laying on your back and breathing. So yeah, moving the body, getting some blood pumping, that really helps to bring you into yourself. So we'll start slow and then we'll move into a couple of sun salutations to really get the body going. So hands can be on the knees or they can be rested on the ground. They can be in the lap, but I think for this one, because we're going to be moving, you might want to hold on to something. That's why I like holding onto my knees or even the shins. Holding somewhere on the legs. Let's start to move around in some big circles with the upper body. So I'm still sitting on my sit bones, my bum, but my spine, all those bones along the back, that's your spine, all the way from the bottom of the spine up to the top of my head is moving around in space. And we're just guiding the body. There's no goal here. It's just a simple movement. So if your circles look bigger than mine or smaller, maybe you're just staying more upright here, it's okay. Either way is fine. If you want to bring the breath into the movement, you can exhale as you go forward and around and inhale as you come back. It might feel better the opposite way. You might inhale as you come forward and around, and you might exhale as you go back. You really want to try to make the yoga as personal as you can. So it's about you and what feels best in your body. Good. And then when you find a comfortable spot, we'll switch the direction. Coming around the opposite way, some nice big circles around. And then just noticing the breath. And see if you can keep your bum planted on the earth as you move around. Maybe take a couple of smaller circles. Does that feel better in your body? Maybe try a couple of even bigger circles where your body is just going off the side. You might need some help with your hands on the ground. The last 2 times around. Good. And then finding your way back into the center. Find a nice tall spine. So like we talked about, from the bum down, up through all those little bones in the back of your body, the spine, out into the top of the head. Press up through the head and down through the lower body. And try to make as much space as you can in the middle. So right here is where we're breathing our lungs. So you want to give as much space for your body to breathe into your lungs. Nice. And then we're going to stretch out the neck a little bit, because when I get anxious, like I said earlier, I tend to breathe into the upper body only and not use my belly, my grounding breath. So I tend to get really tight and tense up in my neck. So I like to place one hand just on the upper body here, just beside the shoulder, below the neck. And I just like to take a moment to feel into the tissues, really get present. What am I feeling? What feels like tissue, bone, just feeling the temperature of the body, just taking a moment to know what that feels like. And then with my other hand, I like to reach down towards the ground, and then I'll lean my neck away from my hand. So for me, it's my right hand on my body, and my right ear is going down to my right shoulder. And you can stay right here if Feeling like a good stretch for you. Sometimes I like to play around with where my hand is. So maybe lifting it up a little bit. Still feeling the reach away through the fingertips. And then just playing around with, oh, maybe that feels better. Maybe the stretch goes out into my arm. Find a spot that feels good and reach away through the fingertips there. And then also, if you want, you can lift your chin up. Keep leaning the head over towards the shoulder, but just lift the chin up. Take a nice big breath in there. And then soften and let everything go. One side might feel a little bit looser than the other. Let's switch sides. So my left hand is going to come onto the upper body here. Take a moment just to feel. How's that shoulder feeling? How's the temperature of my skin, of my neck, on my shoulder there? And then if you know where your collarbones are, right here on either side, there's 2 bones. You can hold just about that space. And I kind of like to press into the body so that when I lean my head away, it's kind of anchoring one spot and stretching into the neck. You can stay there. You can reach the fingertips down to the earth. That might intensify it. And if that feels good, stay there. Or maybe just work at playing around with an angle of the arm that brings the stretch down into the arm as well. Option to lift the chin up, maybe bringing the head back slightly, maybe bringing it forward more. I'm just playing around with that angle. And another big breath in. And let everything go and relax. And so we're just giving some more space in the upper body and getting away from all that tension. Okay, so now we're going to take the movement even bigger, and we're going to work into some sun salutations to move the whole body. You can take that pillow and place it off to the side. We're going to use it for the next posture after the movement, so just keep it close. And then come all the way up to the top of your mat. Let's take our palms together, pressing each side, the left side to the right side and connecting in the center. And if you want, you can close your eyes and set an intention for your practice. So an intention could be, maybe you know a prayer that you want to say to yourself. Maybe you want to Om. Maybe you want to dedicate your practice to one of your family members or someone you know that needs a little bit of extra love. And because we're working with anxiety today, I am going to make my intention for the practice about calming my body, calming my mind. So as I move through the practice, through the movements, I just keep remembering, how can I bring more calmness in? So taking in the moment, feeling that intention in your body. Let's drop the arms down to our sides. Standing at the top of the mat, take a big breath in, reach the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, fold all the way down to the earth. Take your hands to your shins. Inhale, lengthen the arms and look forward, halfway lift. Exhale, fold all the way down. 2 more times like that. Inhale, press the hands, lengthen the arms, look forward, reach the heart forward. Exhale, fold all the way down. Last one, big breath in, lift the upper body halfway, and then exhale, fold down. Yeah, plant your hands to the earth, step your right foot back, and drop your knee to the ground. Inhale, lift the arms up, so we're in a low lunge, our back knee down, but we're bending into our left knee, our front knee. Now, if reaching up through the hands doesn't feel good to you, you can cactus the arms. So we're bending down through the elbows, but still reaching the fingertips up. And that might feel better in your body. Take a couple of nice big breaths. Maybe even lift the heart a little bit higher. Good. Exhale, hands to the earth. Take a breath in, lift the back knee. And then exhale as you fold, step to the top, and drape over the legs. Halfway lift. Inhale, reach the eyes, the heart forward. Exhale, fold down. Hands to the ground, step our left foot, other foot steps back, drop the knee to the earth. Inhale, rise up. Option to keep the arms up, or again, cactus the arms, bending the elbows. Take a couple of big breaths, maybe even try looking up towards the ceiling. That might challenge the balance a little bit, and that helps keep the focus right here, right now. One more breath in. Exhale, hands to the earth. Inhale, lift the back knee. Exhale, step forward and fold all the way down. And soften the knees, bend them a little bit, and then roll the body all the way up to standing and send the shoulders down the back. Nice. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms up, nice and long through the body. Exhale, fold all the way down. Halfway lift. Inhale, reach the eyes forward. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands down, step your right foot back. This time you have the option to keep the back knee up. If you want to put it down, that's fine too. But if you want, you can keep it long. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. This time you can keep reaching up. You can bend the elbows to that cactus shape. Or we'll bring in eagle arms. So reach both arms forward and drop the right arm down and then cross. You can hook for, reach for opposite shoulders, or keep reaching around and touch the palms together. Whatever place you land in, try to lift the elbows a little bit higher. Nice. You should start to feel the breath bringing the breath quickening a little bit here because we're bringing in more strength into the body. You might start to feel a little bit more heat in the legs too. 2 more breaths. Stay here. And untangle the arms. Inhale, reach up. And exhale all the way down. Inhale, look forward to the front of the mat. Exhale, step the foot and fold the body down. Let everything hang down. Take a breath in and out. And let the head get nice and heavy. Good. Halfway lift. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the upper torso. Exhale, fold down. Plant the hands, step the left side back this time. Again, the option to bend the back knee is always there. If you want to keep it straight, you can. Inhale, lift the arms. Good, same option here. Straight arms, bent arms, or reaching forward. This time we'll drop the left arm down, cross, grab shoulders, or bend the elbows and reach for the palms. And then keep the bend in the front knee here, and then try to reach the elbows up a little bit higher. Couple of breaths. Noticing how your feet feel, how your fingers feel. And if you are thinking in the future, so in anxiety thoughts, just try to bring it back to what the body feels like right now, right here. Good. Inhale, release the arms, reach up. And exhale, hands to the ground. Take a big breath in, look forward, and then exhale, step to the top of your mat and fold all the way down. Take a couple of breaths right here, maybe reach for opposite elbows and just give a little swing back and forth. Let the head get nice and heavy. And let go of the arms, bend the knees slightly and roll all the way up to standing and shoulders down the back. Nice. So now that we've moved our body and we feel a little bit more alive, a little bit of the blood pumping, the temperature change, we're going to start to calm back down again to work into the breath and that grounding feeling. before we move forward into the rest of our day. So I'm just going to switch the camera angles here. I'm going to go for a little bit of a ride. And the next posture we're going to work with is legs up the wall. So reach for that pillow or yoga bolster if you had one, and place it right against the wall. And then you're going to come to sit on one side of that pillow so that the side of your body is touching onto the wall. Now this takes a little bit of a maneuver to get into, so you might need to try a couple times, or maybe you get it the first time. But as my body goes down towards the ground, my legs are going to go up towards the wall. So as I lay down, legs go up, and I'll be facing towards the wall. Okay. You might need to scoot forward or back, or I like to even plant my feet on the wall and adjust that pillow underneath until everything feels just right. And then, just like we did at the beginning of class, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your body, maybe one on the heart, one on the belly. Opposite hands is fine, or maybe just off the body feels better to you. You can even put your hands on your legs. Really feel what feels good in your body. Everyone's going to look different. And then we'll just come back to our breath. So close your eyes and see if you can focus in on that nice, long exhale. And if your hands are touching your body, you might feel the breath come in and out. So within our body lives our nervous system. And our nervous system has the two kinds, two channels. One channel is that fight or flight response, the sympathetic system. And that's where we're feeling anxious. That's where we're feeling tense and a quick breath. And then the other side of that, the other channel, you can only be on one or the other, is the parasympathetic. And that's where you're able to rest and digest your food. And that's where you're able to take long, deep belly breaths. And in order to switch between the two channels, the breath is really the best tool to do that. Because the breath is something that you yourself can control. Whereas a lot of things in our body, it happens without us thinking about, right? We don't think, okay, time to digest our food, or okay, time for my heart to pump my blood. It just happens. But the breath is something that happens when we don't tell it to happen, because we're breathing all the time, but we're not thinking about breathing all the time. But it's also something that we can think about and that we can change. So it really is the one tool that helps us control which nervous system which channel we're on. So taking these long, big, deep breaths are bringing us into that calm, restful state. So we're going to stay here for a little bit longer, because it really does, it feels so good to be able just to let the body sink down and just feel held and supported by the ground. And if your legs are feeling, okay, that's enough, like they're getting a little bit sleepy, you can change the position. So sometimes I like to have the legs out nice and wide. And then I like to think about, just to keep the mind focused on what I'm doing, I like to feel the different sensations in the body. So starting at the feet, just noticing how the feet are feeling. Mine were getting a little bit sleepy when they were straight up, but now they're feeling way better. There's no tingly feeling in there. And then I think about the legs. So my legs are feeling a bit of a stretch. So I bring that into my mind and I just notice, okay, there's a little bit of a stretch there. And then I feel down into my torso or my upper body portion. And I think, oh, what would it feel like to bring a big breath in? And then I take a big breath in and I fill my lungs. And I breathe all the way out. And then I just notice the difference. What does it feel like to have a full breath? And what's it feel like to have an empty breath? And then I notice my fingers and my hands, feeling the temperature, feeling the sensation on my skin. I'm laying on a blanket right now, so I feel the softness on my arms. And then I just keep checking in. I keep breathing. And then I notice, okay, well, my legs feel like I could use a different position now. So we can also bring the feet together and the knees wide. So this is butterfly pose when we're sitting up on the ground at the knees wide. So you can also just flutter the legs back and forth a little bit if that feels good. Nice. And then I like to bring the knees together with the feet on the wall. And you can stay here for a moment. It's just that it's kind of like a child's pose where you can pull your knees down even closer towards you. And then when you feel ready, you'll just roll off to one side and then come all the way up into a seat. And then I like to sit against the wall. And you can also sit on top of your pillow if you want. But I like the support of the wall behind me so that I can lean back. So you know that nice grounding feeling that you feel through your seat while we're sitting or we're laying on our back? This kind of brings that feeling into the seat so that you're able to feel grounded in your lower body, but also feel grounded in your upper body. And we'll just finish the class with a bit of a seated Shavasana. So just closing the eyes and taking a couple moments for yourself here. And just letting go of any breath control that you had. So we're not creating that really, really long exhale anymore. We're just letting the breath come naturally in and out. And then you can take your hands together if that feels okay for you. And then just bring back into memory the intention that you set at the beginning of class. So I'm just going to think about, do I feel that sense of calm in the body? And then I start to think about, how can I bring that intention into the rest of the day off my mat? And because we're talking about anxiety in today's class, and I was bringing in that sense of calm into my practice, maybe it was something different for you, but for me, it was bringing that sense of calm. So when I feel really anxious off my mat in my day-to-day life, I like to take this moment, breathe, move a little bit. And then to continue that feeling throughout the day, I like to sit down with this calm mind and create a list of things that I need to get done. Oftentimes, it's because of a deadline that I have, maybe a due date of something that needs to be done, that I start to feel anxious. So making a little list of breaking down what I need to do step by step, just so that it looks more like baby steps. And the smaller steps I can make, the better. So that when you complete a task, you're able to say, okay, that part's done, I can check it off, move to the next one. And then after a little while, you can look back at that list and see, wow, I've actually completed a lot of things. And I know that I'm feeling anxious because I have a lot to do and so much needs to get done. But now I can look back and say, wow, actually, I have done a lot of things. So after my yoga practice, I like to get out my journal or just a piece of paper and just write down some baby steps of how I would like to move forward with the task that I'm feeling anxious about. Okay, so we're all done for today. Thank you so much for joining in for practice. Namaste.